Welcome back to the Dan Patrick Show. I'm Ryan Leaf, filling in for Dan here on a Friday, a Meat Friday. We have bone-in ribeyes, mashed potatoes, and mac and cheese.
Good base for the weekend.
This is good stuff. You know, I've always been passionate about my meats. The ability to eat and consume as much as you can, the meat sweats that come with it. I'm excited. I'm excited for the opportunity. Just like I'm assuming Caleb Williams is excited to go to the Chicago Bears. Or would you be really? We've never really seen a draft pick go to Chicago and be successful. In fact, you would probably argue in a lot of situations, it's kind of where quarterbacks' careers seemingly go to die. So if I'm Caleb Williams, and I know that this will be the only opportunity to have the leverage that I have until a second contract or a free agency happens, which is incredibly a long ways away. Because of that, does he try to do something different? Is Washington a better play for him than Chicago? Washington has a new coaching staff. Dan Quinn has shown to get to a Super Bowl with a franchise quarterback in Matt Ryan. But where do you find a franchise that you know, like this is, that you know you're going to have a better chance to go to a Super Bowl or win a championship, or more or less, in this instance of being the number one overall pick and the bar being is where it's at, is clearing that bar. I don't know if you can clear it if you're the number one overall pick unless you win multiple Super Bowls. I mean, for a long time, even Peyton Manning, MVPs, but one Super Bowl, and I don't know if he cleared that bar of being the number one overall pick that year until he won that second Super Bowl, realistically. And I think that says something about it to Caleb Williams, because he knows, like this, and him and his dad are talking about, this has to work. Like this has to work. If it doesn't, there's no third rail for me here. There's no third option. I can't go to, I can't be like Jameis and pop over to New Orleans and all of a sudden everything changes. Marcus Mariota goes from Tennessee to Atlanta. No. If you're the top two picks in the draft and you move on to the second spot, you're most likely not going to be the starter. You will never live up to the expectation that's been placed at your feet, which you had no say in, but it's going to be tied to you. So Caleb Williams in this moment should not be viewed by outsiders that he's entitled, that he is, should be, he's of this generation of only wanting what, ungrateful, what people want, fans particular of these teams, shut up, be grateful that you're going to go play in the NFL and go play and try to win a championship.
If Caleb Williams and his agency wanted to manipulate the draft or maneuver it so Washington took him, would they talk to Washington and the management there and say, like, look, my client would like to go there? I don't know if that's even legal to do, but would they talk to Washington and say, like, look, my client wants to play for you. I would encourage you to do everything you can. Is there anything they could do to make it friendly on the back end?
Yeah. You if you have an agent, you have him talking to the team, like in my scenario in 1998. If I fully understood the leverage that I had, I mean, so much so that San Diego was willing to trade so much to move up to the second. They moved up one spot. They had the third pick. Arizona had the second pick. Arizona didn't need a quarterback. They had Jake Plummer. They weren't in the need. So everything was a viable option there. In San Diego, in the fear of missing out on either Peyton or myself, traded away a ton of capital. Eric Metcalf, one of the all-time great returners, he moves on, and they move to the number 2 spot. So they just clearly showed you the leverage that Peyton and I had in that instance. What I should have done is told my agent, hey, for the best place for me to have success is the Pittsburgh Steelers, period. They're a winning organization. I also was the biggest Pittsburgh Steelers fans growing up. So, I mean, best of both worlds here. Figure out a way for me to get to Pittsburgh. You go to there. Cordell Stewart is currently the quarterback there. I know he's your client, Lee Steinberg. But, hey, I'm your new client, and I'm going to be the first overall pick or the second overall pick, so I'm going to make you a hell of a lot more money. So go do it. And that's what I should have done. But I didn't know any of that. I'm just this, hick from Montana who's like, oh my God, I might get to go play pro football. Are you kidding me? Caleb's been a pro since he's been 13 years old. Elite 11. Him and his dad have been talking about this. He's made $10 million over the last 2 years. There's leverage in this. Now, does he need to be the number 1 overall pick? Because some guys need to do that. That is prideful. That is ego. That is what it is. But is it worthwhile enough to be the first overall pick to then not go to a place that gives you the best chance to be the best player you can be at the NFL level? Because it's a crapshoot. It really is. The worst teams get the opportunity at the best players to keep this league, more even than not.